Kim here with Like Tesla. So one of the comments we get all the time is that EVs are not actually as environmentally friendly as they say they are, and how they're not really as green as we say they are. They're not environmental. Some of the big arguments people have is that they use rare earth metals in their batteries. They charge off a dirty coal system. So another argument is that there's intensive mining that goes on to get the metals for these batteries or for the EVs.
Yeah, you know, that aspect is actually true. It takes more energy and resources and greenhouse gases even to create an electric car today than it does to create a comparable gas car. But when you look at the cradle to grave life cycle of an EV versus a gas car, you see that when a gas car sits at a dealership brand new, it has emitted less greenhouse gases to be brought to life.
So an EV basically does most of its dirty work before it's even born, and once the cars hit the road, it quickly catches up with greenhouse gas emissions.
That's even true when you're charging off the dirty grid. That holds true in most US states. You know, one of the longest and most extensive studies ever done on the cradle to grave life cycle emission of any sort of car was done by the organization called the Union of Concerned Scientists. They found that manufacturing your full-size Model S, it added to about 15% more of greenhouse gas emissions to the total manufacturing process. This was really trivial compared to the emissions avoided due to not burning fossil fuels to move the car. Now, before you say, but electricity is generated from coal, the study actually took that into account too.
So think about it this way, a smaller EV like a Leaf takes about 6 months of driving before it can catch up in greenhouse gases, where a larger EV takes 12 to 18 months before it will actually catch up in greenhouse gases. So basically, the smaller the battery size, the faster it will begin catching up.
Yeah, electrics almost always win in the least amount of lifetime emissions because they convert their energy to the wheels at a really incredible rate. About 80 to 90% of their energy is going directly to turning the wheels, while in an internal combustion engine, about 30% of the energy makes it to the wheel for moving your car forward.
So only a hybrid that gets roughly 40 miles per gallon or more in their lifetime is going to be comparable in terms of the output of greenhouse gases, where the average car gets 24 miles per gallon in their lifetime.
Yeah, you know, something else that's really worth thinking about as well is a survey, and this survey is almost 4 years old, so the numbers have probably changed dramatically for the better. But it shows that almost 40% of all EV drivers, at least in California, the highest EV ownership part of the world, have solar on their roofs. So, you know, 4 out of every 10 EV drivers having solar on their roofs kind of flips the entire equation around, because now they're catching up on emissions instantly and passing it far quicker than 6 months or 12 months.
Some of the arguments are that they use rare earth metals in the batteries. This is actually, though, not entirely true. We spoke with Tesla and they said that they don't use them in their motors.
Yeah, you know, they told us that Tesla does not use rare earth metals in our battery or motor. Typically, rare earth metals apply to DC motors, which use magnets. One of the reasons we use an AC induction motor is it does not require magnets, which often contain the rare earth metals. And it's worth bringing up the battery too, because you know what happens when the battery reaches the end of its life cycle? We asked Tesla and they said they recycle it, recovering about 70% of the carbons they took to create it. They use a company called Umicore Battery Recycling Technologies, who's actually able to refine and recover the valuable metals out of the battery by creating products and byproducts instead of just following the mechanical separation process.
So one of our wonderful viewers, Mark Larson, created this map where you can actually put what part of the US you live in, and you can look at a Leaf or a Model S or an X, and you can compare your lifetime emissions of driving electric versus a gas car. So the grid is actually becoming cleaner every year with more alternative energy coming into the mix, and even big oil companies are now starting to plan for the future, a greener future.
Total SA is one of the world's biggest oil producers. They even recently said that EVs will likely constitute a third of all new car sales by the end of the next decade, which means they expect that their fuel demands will flatten or maybe even decline. And globally, we know most of where our oil is coming from. In fact, even the largest refinery in the US, as of the last couple of days, is now 100% owned by the Saudis.
I think the reasons for going electric shouldn't just be for environmental, but even more of protecting what's yours and not having to rely on others for their precious finite resource. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that this helped clear up some of those misconceptions about EVs. If you like our videos, please press the like button and comment below. That really helps my channel grow as it tells YouTube to share our videos with others and help spread the word of sustainability and EVs. And if you're in the market for an S or an X, or you know someone who is, please use my referral code. Thanks for watching.